Lesson 17, we're going to continue practicing working on the coordinate plane. We're going to review what all the parts of the coordinate plane are before you begin. So the first thing I need you to do is draw a line right down the middle here. Put your arrows on the end. Put your y up here so you remember this is your y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you're going to put your line right here through the middle. And this one is your x. And remember the center is 0. Each line is the number, not the gaps. So this one is 1. This line is 2, 3, 4, 5. It says to represents 1 unit. But if I look down here at the bottom, I don't need to be counting by ones. Well, here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So down here, I'm just looking at my x's, and I have a 3, an 8, a 3, a 2, a 0, a 1, a 10. And so that means I need to count by ones for my x's. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the other side is just the opposite, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, and -10. Now, my second one, though, I'm going to look at my y's. I have a 2, a 4, an 8, a 9, a 6, a 2, and a 2. All of those I'd have to count by ones as well, so I can actually plot my points. So my first point is a 3, 2. So I start at my origin. I go to the right 3. I go up 2. So this point is 3, 2. And I'm going to put the numbers there so I remember it. The next one is 8, 4. So I go over to 8 and I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you have the freedom to put your numbers on all of them. I just feel like it takes extra time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, I want you to notice that all my numbers are right on the line because my number is not in the blank spot. My number belongs on the line. Because when we're graphing them, we don't graph to a blank. We graph to where a line actually is. So we have 8, 4, which I just did. I have a -3, 8, which means I need to go to the left 3 and then up to 8, which is here. And then -2, 9, which means to the left and down. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I have 0, which means I do nothing, and then a +6, which means I go to the right 6. The second number is the positive, which means I have to go up. So 0, I go up there. This is 0, 6. This is a -1, which means I go left. This is a -2, which means I go down. -1, -2. And then I have a +10, which is to the right, and a -2, which is down. And that's where all of your points would be. So let's go to the next page. Now let's look at our numbers. Our x's, I have a 4, a 3, a 1, a 6, and a 9. So I'm going to scale by 1 for the x-axis. And then for the second number, it's 20, 35, 35, 10, and 40. Those all end in 0 and 5, which means I can count by 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Then my negatives, negative 5, negative 10, negative 15, negative 20, negative 25, negative 30, negative 35, negative 40, negative 45, negative 50. So I have a negative 4, positive 20. So negative 4, positive 20 would be here. Look, my 20 is here. So negative meant I went left, positive meant I went up. Negative 4, 20. Then I have a negative 3, 35. Negative 3 is the left, 35 is up. Negative 3, 35 is here. And then I have a 1, it's positive, so I go to the right, and a negative 35, which means I go down. Positive 6, positive 10 would be here. And positive 9 and negative 40 would be to the right and down. And then I go down to 40, which would be right there. So you're going to continue practicing our graphing. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to tell you what you can count by so that you know what the scales are to practice the graphing. So for this one, we have our lines through it. And my x's, I'm going by tenths. So this will be a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and negative 0.1, negative 0.2, negative 0.3. You'll finish that one out. And then looking at the y's, you're going to count by ones with the y's. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and so on. So you'll need to plot those points. And then on this page, you'll do the same thing. I will give you the scale though. And I'm looking at my x's. It's a 14, a 4, a 6, a 14, a 0, and an 8, 14, 6, 4, and 14. You can count by twos. So that would be 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Negative 2, negative 4, negative 6. You continue counting. My second number is a 2, a half, a 3.5, 2.5, 3.5, and a negative 4, which means you're counting by halves. So that's 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, so on. You're going to do the same thing down. Negative half, negative 1, negative 1.5, negative 2, negative 2.5, negative 3, and so on, and plot those points. And go ahead and show me both of those graphs, and then I can move you on to your problem set.